What is up, guys? My name is Lex. We are here at the beautiful Seminole Hard Rock playing 510 today. We had a rough week this week. We lost about $3,000 at Magic City 5-5, and then Thursday I was here and I lost about $3K playing 510. So not the best week, down about $6K, but we're gonna change that today. Playing some 510. There's a tournament series in town, so there's a ton of people here. Lots of action so far. All right, so last week I asked you guys to put some questions in the comments, what you guys want to know about me, my lifestyle, poker, anything like that. I'm going to be answering those questions throughout the vlog and at the end, so stay tuned for that. That is enough with the intro. We're going to head inside, play some 510, get some cards in our hands, some chips in our hands, and hopefully take more chips home than we came with. All right, let's go. I'll meet you guys in there. Hopefully you guys are excited to watch some poker because I am excited to play. Vlog number 17 coming at you guys. We're playing 2-5 here while waiting for our 5-10 seat. First hand, under the gun raises to 15. Next to act, calls 15. We have king, queen offsuit. We can 3-bet or call. I decide to just call. I'm not sure how I like this play. I think a 3-bet would be better. And the button call, so going 4 ways to a flop. Some reasons we want to 3-bet is we can take the pot down pre-flop. Because it's a $15 raise, it seems kind of weak, but we can also keep hands in like king 10 or queen 10, queen jack, hands that we're dominating here. So we decide to flat. Flop comes out 4-10 jack with 2 spades. Pretty good board for us. We flop 2 overcards and an open-ended straight draw to an ace or a 9. Both opponents check to us, and we bet $50 into 60. This is a semi-bluff, obviously. We can get hands that are beating us to fold like pocket 6s, pocket 7s, pocket 8s, and we can also get worse hands to call like 8-9 or 7-8 or possibly a hand like queen 9. The initial raiser now tanks and calls our $50 bet, so kind of a weird spot that he decided not to c-bet, but he does call. Turn card deuce of spades. Our opponent raised from early position and then check called our bet, so he doesn't have any sets or 2 pairs on this board, doesn't have an overpair. My guess is he has a hand like ace king or ace queen for a gut shot and 2 overcards that he's probably not folding if we bet, so we decide to check this one back. If we had a spade in our hand like the king of spades or queen of spades, we would continue to barrel here as a semi-bluff, but he is most likely to have one of those cards as well, so if we bet, we're definitely getting called, so we decide to basically check, give up, and try to realize our equity. River is the king of spades, gives us top pair, but also brings 4 spades on the board. We're losing to tons of hands now, losing to ace queen, ace king, ace with a spade, queen with a spade, basically all of our hands, so we end up folding to his $110 bet. That was the only 2-5 hand we play. We are now at 5-10, buying it for $2,500. Table looks decent, a lot of regs from different areas, probably tournament grinders as well, so we'll see. Hopefully we can get into some action here. There's a guy we play a bunch of hands with today, and I'm going to nickname him Slow Joe in the best way possible. Not sure if his name's even Joe, but he takes forever pre-flop. Always takes forever to look at his cards. Not sure if the action's on him. Just kind of a slow order guy. You guys know exactly who I'm talking about, but he's playing 100% of hands, so we definitely love the action. He limps under the gun. We raise to 50 with 10-9 of clubs, and he makes the call, so going heads up here. Can't get much better than this flop. 10-6-8, 2 clubs. We flop top pair and a straight flush draw. Slow Joe checks. We bet $25 into 110. Super small bet. We want him to call here with a ton of his hands. We have this board basically crushed. He makes the call for 25. Turn card deuce of hearts. Slow Joe does the 1-finger check to us. We decide to bump it up to $100 here, betting a little bit bigger. 100% sure I have the best hand here. Want to charge him for all of his hands he wants to see the river with. He ends up making the call. River card's a jack of hearts, so it doesn't improve our hand to a flush or 2 pair or a straight. So when he checks to us, we decide to check this one back. Just trying to get to showdown here. We could be losing to possibly a better 10. We're now losing to a hand like queen jack or jack x of clubs, possibly 8 jack as well. So we check it back. He mucks once he sees our 10, and we scoop this pot. This next hand happened actually right when I sat down before I got into the end seat, which is the best for filming. Slow Joe races to 30, and we call on the button with pocket 6s. I want to show this hand because it's actually pretty funny. You guys will see what he does at the end of the hand. It's kind of odd and just kind of shows you what kind of player he is. So the flop comes out ace jack for all clubs. We flop an underpair here with the 6 of clubs. He checks. We check it back. Turn 5 of clubs, we make a 6-high flush. Not the best, but not the worst outcome. Our opponent now thinks for a while. He raised pre-flop, checked the flop. Now he bets the turn for $30. Our hand's too strong to fold here on the turn, so we make the call for 30. You're not really going to guess what happens next. The river comes out, king of hearts. Slow Joe thinks for a while, and he decides that he's just going to open muck his hand. So he just folds here. He raised pre-flop, bet the turn, and just gives up on the river. So we win the hand. Don't even have to show our 6-high flush, so a little weird, not really ever seen that before. There's not much action on this table. The button ends up opening here to $30. Slow Joe calls 30 in the big blind. We decide to just call in the big blind. We want to play a hand in position against Slow Joe. If we 3-bet, we might get called by the button and Slow Joe might fold, and we don't want that to happen, so we go 3 ways to the flop. King 8, 4, 2 clubs, not the best flop for us with pocket tens, but we do have a pair and a backdoor flush draw. Checks to the button, who bets in a bet of $60. Pretty big bet. We're not going to fold just yet. We're under repped our hand. We call the $60, going to the turn, which is the 8 of diamonds, pairs the board. I consider leading on this card. I'm going to have a lot more 8s than my opponent, but my hand is super strong. I have showdown value, don't really need a bluff, so I check and he checks back. We can assume the way the hand played out that he didn't bet the turn, that we most likely have the best hand here, so I decide maybe I should lead out for value on the river, but I think check calling, letting him bluff will be better. I could lead out on the river, try to get called by under pairs or even ace high, but I think with this guy, I think it'd be better to try to let him bluff. He looks like he could potentially have some bluffs in his range, so we check it over to him. He puts out a bet of $150. Hand doesn't really make too much sense. If he had a strong hand, he'd probably bet it on the turn. I think our hand's way too strong to fold, so we call 150 here. Button shows king jack offsuit for top pair. He pretty much owns us. Nice hand, buddy. All right, guys. Next hand, probably one of the sickest hands on the vlog so far. Slow Joe raises in the small blind to $25. We're in the big blind with 6 deuce of hearts. We make the call for $15 more, trying to play pots with him. The flop comes out 3, 4, 5. We flop the second nuts. There's 2 diamonds on the board. He c-bets $50. We raise it up immediately. We make it $150. He makes the call. I put him on an overpair, a hand like ace jack, ace queen, ace king, or possibly a flush draw. So going to the turn, which pairs the 5, not the best card because now he might be scared with an overpair. And we obviously lose to some sets or possibly 2 pair like 4 or 5. We're going to keep betting for value here, but we don't want to bet too big. We want to keep him in there with his flush draws or overpairs or possibly even ace king or ace jack. So we bet $200. He thinks for a little bit of time and raises. He makes it $750. I look at his stack. He has about $1,400 remaining, so kind of a weird spot. We have a straight, but we are losing to a lot of hands now. We're losing to 6-7. We're losing to 4-5, pocket 4s, pocket 3s. With this raise size, he's repping a hand like ace-5 or a full house, and we're obviously losing to that hand, but I don't think that he would raise so big with a full house. If he had something like 4-5 or pocket 4s, would he really make it $750? Maybe he would make it like $450 or $500, trying to get me to call, but this just seems a little fishy. It's so big. Such a big raise here. So now we have 3 options. We can call, we can raise all in, or we can fold. I don't think we can fold against this player. Our hand is way too strong. I don't think we should raise all in because if he's bluffing, we want to try to let him bluff on the river. So I think call's the best here. So we end up thinking for a while, tanking forever, more than I usually ever do in any hand, and make the call. We have a massive pot brewing here, guys. Over $1,800 in the middle, going to the river. Hopefully it's a brick. We don't want to see the board pair again. We don't want to see a diamond or a club. Dealer puts out 8 of hearts, so looks pretty clean to us. This is only a bad river if he had a hand like 8-5 suited that now river to full house, but we can't be too scared of that hand. He thinks for a little bit of time and decides that all of his money is going to go in the middle. He shoves all in. We ask the dealer for a count. His bet on the river is $1,450, more than I buy in for 2-5, so a massive bet for this game, almost 150 big blinds. I don't think we can fold this hand. He could be overvaluing a 5, he could be bluffing, he could be turning his overpair into a bluff, so we put in the 1-chip call. Slow Joe pauses for a second and mucks his hand. My heart is beating. This is crazy. I've never won a $5,000 pot before without even showing my cards. I guess it was past his bedtime and he wanted to get out of here, so huge win for us, huge pot here at 510. This hand's pretty weird and kind of annoying as well. A 2-5 regular opens up to $25 in the cutoff, and we call in the big blind with king 8 of clubs. My guess is he just got kind of confused, and instead of raising a 35, made it 25. Flop comes out 8-3-3 with 1 diamond, so we flop top pair, good kicker. He c-bets $25. We raise to $80 for value, trying to end the hand. Basically, he's going to be c-betting 100% on this board, and we're trying to get him to fold all of his overcards like king, jack, king, queen, ace, king, ace, queen. He then puts in a 3-bet on the flop, makes it $230. This player is definitely capable of bluffing. He's bluffed me before or tried to bluff me in tournaments, not as much in cash games, so he could be leveling here, trying to use his range advantage. However, I can have way more threes on this board. I can have king 3 suited, ace 3 suited, 4 3 suited, 5 3 suited, even deuce 5 suited with his raise size, so him 3-betting the flop is kind of weird. We end up making the call, which I don't really like. I think I should just be giving up this hand, but we do have a backdoor diamond draw, so if we hit diamond, diamond, we could stack him if he has aces or kings. Dealer puts out this 6 of spades on the turn, doesn't help us at all, but we are still beating some of his bluffs, so we check it over to him, and he thinks for a little bit of time and bets 250, so basically the same sizing as on the flop. So now I think he either has a bluff or an overpair. I really don't think he has a 3. I don't think he would play it like this. We block pocket 8s for top boat. So I definitely think a fold on the flop would be fine, and I definitely also think a fold here on the turn. His sizing really isn't too bluffy. I think if he was bluffing, he might bet more like 400 and then try to size up on the river. But this seems just like a value bet, like he has jacks, queens, kings, or aces. We make the call, going here to the river. If he gives up, we could be winning. If he bets again, we'll most likely fold unless we improve. We do not improve on the river, deuce of diamonds. We decide to check it over to him with about $1,000 in the middle. He puts out a bet of $425. This just never seems like a bluff. We're definitely beat here. He has an overpair. He might even have a hand like ace 3 suited. We can't really do anything here, but fold. Kind of annoying. I don't like giving nits or regulars action. I'd rather give action to the players that are here playing recreationally, so I think I should be folding pre-flop. Definitely folded on the flop and even more on the turn, but since we got all the way here, we can't call. I end up tanking for a while and folding. Not too happy with how I played this hand. An hour or two go by and we don't really win any hands, losing some small pots. We're now up stock about 1,000-ish. So going into the next hand here, we can move to the main game and a massive pot is brewing. $750 4-bet pre-flop, then a raise to $1,500 on the flop, and then all in on the turn, kings versus aces. They end up running it twice, king on the first board, 10 on the second. They end up chopping it up. Kings got super lucky there. This was a 10K pot. This table has so much money on it, massive stacks, hoping to get in the action here. Let's go. Unfortunately, we just do not have anything to work with at this table. We're card dead forever. We end up folding and raising and losing some small pots, so not doing the best. With about 30 minutes left in our session, we pick up ace-king offsuit in the big blind. The cutoff makes it 25. The button, kind of a tilted player, older man, makes it 100. We 4-bet to $400, and the button ends up making the call. So going heads up here to an $850 pot. Flop comes out ace, jack, deuce, 2 hearts. Good flop for us. Top pair, top kicker. We do not have a heart in our hand. We are losing to a hand like pocket jacks and ace jack, which is definitely hands that he would 3-bet and call a 4-bet with. So kind of concerning there. We have to decide, should we bet small, should we bet big, or should we check? Trying to induce a bluff from this tilted player. I decide to check. When I check it over to him, he instantly goes all in for $2,000, so not really expecting that. If he has queens and kings, he wouldn't be doing that. If he had ace-jack, I don't think he'd be doing that either, so I think he either has a flush draw or ace-queen. I ask for a count. It's around $2,100. I put in the call. Not going to fold here in a 4-bet pot with top pair, top kicker. With almost $5,000 in the middle, my heart is racing here. Hopefully we can hold up. Turn card 3 of clubs, river 7 of hearts. Flush draw gets there. My opponent does not want to show his hand, so I just show ace-king, top pair, top kicker. The button looks at my hand, looks back at his, and mucks. We have him covered, so we end up stacking this guy right at the end of the night. Pretty awesome. Big, massive pot here to finish up. All right, we did it, guys. We booked a win. Big win for us after a 6K downswing this week. We were in the game for $2,500, cashed out for $5,800 for a profit of $3,300. Definitely needed that after losing earlier this week. We got into some weird spots today. That spot was 6 deuce where we flopped a straight, and basically our opponent just gave us all of his money. So obviously that was nice. I really did not think I was going to win that hand, but I just have to call. My hand's way too strong. And then finishing it up there with the ace-king hand, 4-betting ace-king, and flopping an ace, I check, and he just rips all in for $2,000. I played with this guy before, and he's pretty aggressive, especially when he's on tilt, so that was definitely a nice punt there we caught from him. Other than that, pretty good day. We're going to be back here for sure, making videos. All right, that is it for the poker hands for this vlog, but we are going to be answering the questions that you guys left last week up next, so stay tuned if you want to hear those answers. But until next time, I'll see you. All right, first question here. When did I start playing? I played a little bit in my teenage years with my dad online, fulltilt.com. Then when I was in college, I played a little bit on Ignition. I also went to Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh, played 1-2 one time there. In 2014, I went to Vegas for a CrossFit competition. I ended up playing 1-2 at the Orleans. I think I won $600 my first day, and then I lost it all my second day. And then in 2018 in Miami, I started playing at Magic City Casino. I won $300 my first day, and I was hooked ever since. In 2018, I was working as a CrossFit coach and a personal trainer in Miami. I was also playing at Magic City on my off days and on the weekends. After doing this for about 6 months, I was confident that I could quit my job and just play poker full-time, playing 1-2, making about $2,000 to $4,000 a month. So in August 2018, I quit my job and I started playing full-time. When I quit my job, I think I had around an $8,000 or $10,000 bankroll, so I had enough money to definitely live, but it wasn't that much money. I was only buying in for $200 at 1-2. I did that for about a year before moving up to 2-5. I'm definitely a full-time player. I play about 140 to 160 hours a month, and about 95% of my monthly and yearly income comes from poker. As for the WSOP, I plan on being out there probably the first week or two, and then during the main event as well. So 3 things that help me level up in my game. Number 1 would be trying to talk to players that are better than me, try to watch players that are better than me and learn from them. Try to talk hand histories, always try to learn from your mistakes and try not to make those again. Number 2 would be bankroll management. That's a huge part of playing poker as a professional or just someone recreationally. You have to make sure you're managing your bankroll correctly, not spending too much money on anything, not buying in way too big. Number 3 would be putting in the hours. My first year, I played over 2,000 hours of 1-2. My second year, I played 2,200 hours. And then this year, I've been playing 140 to 160 hours a month. I think the more hours, the better, as long as your mindset is good and the games are good. Put in as many hours as you can. So when did I really start playing 510? I took 2 or 3 shots at 510 in 2019. It went okay. I don't really remember my results. And then after the quarantine lifted here and Hard Rock opened back up in June, I started playing a lot more 510. I think most of the summer and the fall, I was playing 3 or 4 times a week at 510, and then now, in the last couple months, it's basically been my main game. I only now play 2-5 when the 510 is full of pros and no fish. As for my athletic background, my parents got me into a lot of sports when I was younger. I played football, soccer, I wakeboarded, I snowboarded. I like doing extreme sports like mountain biking, BMX biking, and skateboarding, rollerblading, stuff like that. However, wrestling was my main sport. I started at age 6 and I got super serious with it in 8th grade. I ended up winning 3 state championships in the state of Maryland and went on to wrestle 2011 through 2013 at Virginia Tech. My tips for starting or managing a bankroll would be make sure you have a job and then try to play as many hours as you can on your off hours. And then also don't spend any money on any big things. Try to limit vacations or buying new things, buying new clothes. Really try to hunker down, be frugal, and save that money. You really should try to get to 2-5 as quickly as possible. That's when you can really start making money and start beating the rake. That's for sure. So I would say if you have a job, try to take as many shots as you can at 2-5. Try to build that bankroll up. If you're only playing poker for a living, I would say wait until you have about 10 or 12K before you start taking shots at 2-5. If you haven't already, go check out my vlog number 9, how to beat 1-2 live poker. I put some tips in there. Definitely will help you guys with your game. Poker was pretty bad when it came to my romantic relationships. After about 3 years of dating the same girl in 2018, when I started playing full-time, it really took its toll. I was playing 10 or 12 hours a day, playing on the weekends, definitely neglected our relationship, which led to the downfall, but I don't regret it at all. Now it's my career, and I love what I do. Now, 3 years later, I'm way more balanced, definitely have a better lifestyle when it comes to poker and relationships, and I'm actually way closer with my dad. He is really into poker as well, so we talk about hands. We talk about when we're going to be playing and what casinos we'll be at. We talk about 3 to 5 times a week just about poker, which is pretty awesome. Will I be going to Vegas anytime soon? Probably not. I want to go to LA. I've never been there to play poker, so I'm excited for that. I do want to try to make a Vegas trip within the next 6 months, but the games weren't that great when they were there. A lot of regs and pros at 510. All right, last question here that I get a ton is, how do I study? And I would say I don't really study with like a solver or books or anything like that. I just use a lot of real world experience, such as playing a lot of hours and also watching a lot of live streams. You can really learn a ton from live streams, and I'm not talking about just the highlighted hands where someone wins a big pot. I'm talking about watching a full 4-hour live stream of how a player plays basically the whole time. I watch a ton of Garrett Adelstein. I watch how he plays almost all of his hands, what he 3-bets, what sizings he's using. It's very interesting to see how he plays post-flop in different situations with pairs, showdowns, bluffs, anything like that. So I think that's great for your game to watch really good players play and try to learn from them. And then the last thing of what really got me from a 1-2 to a winning 2-5 player would be watching Brado and Andrew Nemi vlogs for about 2 years straight. I really watched their vlogs and tried to digest all the information they were talking about the hands, really trying to learn from what they were doing wrong, what they were doing right. Just like in basketball and in football, you're going to practice, do some drills. Same thing with poker. Reviewing poker hands such as vlogs and trying to see how other people think really can help you with your game. Maybe when you're in that situation, you'll already know what to do because you've already seen Andrew or Brad or Lex O play hands similar, so it really helps. So I think poker vlogs are great for learning and for entertainment as well. All right, if you guys made it this far, thanks for watching. Can't wait to put out the next vlogs for you guys. Until next time, I'll see you.